Hello, everyone, and welcome to One Liners, a series centered around key influencers and players in the performance marketing space. My name is Joey Liner of Liner Connections. I'm really excited today. Got a what I would consider a new friend, somebody who I've actually been connected with just this year. We probably crossed paths over the years, just indirectly, but came together this year ahead of LeadsCon, and I just started following her journey and path on LinkedIn and just was super impressed. I'm like, man, I am every day just taken back by the success of this amazing human. And Erin Cigich, CEO of Perform CB, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to have a new friend.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I mean, you've been doing this for a long time. It's a tight community. It's a very tight
Really.
community. Billions of dollars flowing through the pipes of lead generation and performance marketing, but it's a really tight circle, and you got to build trusted friendships and partnerships to succeed. That's how we've all kind of carried ourselves over the years. I know we'll jam on that throughout. We'll talk about some Linky Night stuff. But first, I'm not joking, you guys. Um, Erin's 17-year anniversary with Perform CBs today, so we're gonna touch on that. But it, I when I first started following you, I think you had shared a helpful hint for, um, for folks that are coming out of college to get a head start on your career path. And I think you had said, hey, February or March, you were already out there looking, and that's your career path, right? Like you literally you got this job right out of college, right?
Yeah, my prior employer was a sports bar in Gainesville. So I worked at a sports bar in Gainesville and then started here. So
Nice. Did you go to University of Florida?
yeah, I went to University of
Gainesville?
Florida in Gainesville and
Nice.
bartended at a
Nice.
450 seat sports bar to pay my way through college. So it was fun times.
No, hey, I mean, working through school not easy, and I probably taught you a lot about just work ethic and the dollar and just making sure that but it's very rare. And you and I are loyal. I mean, I worked in my previous business, Double Positive, for since 2004 to 2018, which is extremely rare in our space. So for to see, and we're going to talk about you went from junior account manager out of college to where you are today, CEO. So I want to share a video that you actually posted on LinkedIn today. So give me 1 second, and I'm going to share this because it's the first time I've shared a video clip on my show, but I think it's so worth it because it's amazing.
Hey there, Erin Cigich with Perform CB here, and today I'm celebrating my 17th anniversary with this company. I could not have imagined 17 years ago, 5 days after graduating from college, that this company would be where I'm still working, that this company would be the company that I'm CEO of, and that this company would be the company I'm so proud of all that we've accomplished today. Over this time span, we have grown so much. We have 140 team members worldwide. We've acquired 6 different businesses, and we have had the opportunity to drive customer acquisition for some really, really top brands. We built our own platform that holds 3 patents, so I've got my name on 3 patents, and we are leading the charge as early adopters in the AI front. So using machine learning, using natural language processing, and doing absolutely everything we can to maximize budget use and quality metrics for our clients. It has been such an exciting ride. I cannot wait to see what the future holds, and I'm so excited to be celebrating my 17th anniversary today.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Totally wild. Had no idea that when I joined that I'd still be here 17 years later.
Amazing. Truly, truly amazing. I like to say, I mean, if there's an American dream, like you lived it. But I
Yeah.
want to talk your journey, it's not as easy as just saying, oh, go work somewhere and in 17 years you're gonna be CEO. Like it takes a special breed for somebody to be able to be committed to work your way up the ladder. Like it wasn't handed to you. You're not a hired gun. You've done 6 acquisitions, you have 3 patents, and you have 100 and how many people?
140 employees now. Yeah. All over the
Okay,
world.
this is all right. So, all right, give us a little bit. I know it's we we could go on for hours, but like, tell us seriously how you, what got you to go from where you started to what made you fall so much in love with the people or the business that you were in to want to take over the business?
Yeah. So I went to school for advertising and I hated the creative classes and I loved the media planning classes because the creative felt like, oh, is this button going to be blue or purple? Who cares? And the media planning was like, we're going to spend this much and we're going to get this much. And so when I interviewed at what was then ClickBooth, and the founder said, hey, we only charge when people get customers, I was like music to my ears and fell in love with the industry first. And then as I got to join the company as one of the first 10 employees, it was so exciting. It's like that classic quote they tell you where it's like, if you're offered a seat on a rocket ship, don't ask which seat, just get on the rocket ship. And so it really was like everybody did everything back in those days. And I got to learn a lot. You know, I got to ask a lot of questions, which is definitely important in your career. And something that I think helped to drive me forward. And then we hired really well and we built a good team. So, you know, my COO, Brad Dobbins, he's been with us for 15 years. Lee Aho, our EVP of marketers, has been with us for 16 years. Matt Lord, who joined us through acquisition, has actually been with us for 17 years too. So we've got a good group of folks who are, you know, kind of industry veterans and have grown up together and figured things out together. But yeah, like the iPhone was just getting released when I started. And now it's like, oh, that's where the traffic comes from.
Oh my
Mhm.
goodness, you guys are a family. Like you really
Oh yeah.
are a family. It's because it takes a special group of people to be able to, you guys in some, I mean, we know this when you're working, you're grinding, you're committed, you're spending more time a lot of times with the people at work than you are sometimes, in your house. And just the reality, it's whether it's seasonal or just every day, it's like you're going to wind up spending more time with them. And you got to be able to work together that long and know where your strengths and weaknesses are and to push each other. It's, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't know anybody in our space that has that example of longevity within a team like that. And the iPhone discovery, I was, I sold leads. When I first started selling leads, we were faxing them. When I sold mortgage
No
leads, we
way.
had to take a form, a lead form, and we
Mhm.
actually had to scan them to mortgage brokers. And then eventually we graduated to getting leads on a spreadsheet. And once a day, we'd send them out at noon every day to them. That's where we grew. And it was like the time just passes us by. But it's amazing that you guys have been able to keep that team together and so the success that you're at today with how many people you have across the globe, amazing story, my friend. And it's an honor to have you on today for your 17th. We didn't plan that, guys. I promise you. I just reached out to Erin and said, hey, and I woke up and scrolled through LinkedIn. Like, I try to get, a little bit of better grasp of what's going on my feed of my guests and so forth. And it suits, the universe works in so magical ways, and I'm excited to be here with you today, my friend.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yes.
Likewise.
So tell us a little about Perform CB, formerly ClickBooth. So I'm assuming that's the CB part of it. But tell us a little, like what is your carrying the business to where you are today through whether it's acquisition or organic growth. What is your mission and kind of vision in where we are today in the marketing space?
Yeah. So Perform CB does outcome-based marketing, and we're really trying to champion that term, and we're seeing other people use
Yes.
it, which has me so excited because I think it's an elevated view of what our industry has become. So for us, outcome-based marketing means when we work with a marketer, they only pay if they get a customer. And that could be they are getting an app download or an app engagement. It could be that they're getting a lead form or a purchase. It could be that they're getting someone to call into their call center and stay online for a certain amount of time. Our biggest verticals are financial, lifestyle and entertainment, and then e-commerce. And we've built a pretty broad group of offerings through acquisitions and through organic growth, like you noted. But the
Yeah.
thing that has me absolutely the most jazzed is how we've invested in technology. So we started building our own proprietary platform in 2015. and we migrated the business to it in 2016. And now, because of the developments, both through all of the data that we've accumulated over all of those years, the size of our overall marketplace, and then the developments in AI, we are able to do so many cool things for our clients and for our team. And I can just see us like knocking down ideas that we've had for years, but couldn't figure out how to execute, or challenges that we've run into. And now we're able to build predictive models that help us solve those problems. Like, it's like sky's the limit for performance marketing, I think, because we're also data focused, right? Like, so we've got the data at our fingertips, where lots of other industries don't.
Yeah, I think I love the outcome based. Like I'm entrenched in performance marketing. Outcome based is a good way also to describe, carrying it even further, because like you said, everybody has different outcomes in success metrics. And so awesome, awesome. So you guys just had a earlier this year, you had your company out. Are you guys all remote?
Yeah, so we are remote first at this point. We do have a development office in Europe that's still in office, but otherwise everybody works from home, myself included.
Awesome. And so you had an event you call Think Bigger, right? And it's like,
Yep.
is it where you try to bring everybody together, and do you focus on kind of the year and goals for where, what you guys are trying to accomplish?
Yeah, so Think Bigger was exciting because it celebrated its 10th anniversary this year. It started out as, when we were in the office, it was an afternoon and we ordered a spaghetti dinner and just tried to talk about like what we did last year and what we're going to do next year. And it has evolved over the years. We've done it on a trolley ride. One year we did it where we had one in Sarasota, one in Denver, and one in Europe, kind of all at the same time, and tried to manage that. And then for the past couple of years, we've flown the entire team worldwide to Florida. And we have like a 3 or 4 day event, typically pretty close to the water. I'm in Sarasota, and a lot of our team is in Sarasota. It was where our biggest office was pre-pandemic. This year we did it in Clearwater, and we actually invited some clients this year too. So it's great. We bring in outside speakers. We do team building. We had an AI hackathon during it this year.
Oh,
And then
wow.
we have a pretty big party at the end to celebrate, as well as an awards dinner, which is always like, it's like the Oscars. People win an award, and it's so heartwarming because they go up there and they spend all of their time thanking like 20 other people that helped them win that award. And it's really
Oh,
a fun
man. Yeah,
time.
because you give people the opportunity to share and speak, which is cool. Like just to be able to step out of the grind for a bit outside of our meetings, and just be able to like take some time to build it. You know how much chemistry just comes along from building and giving gratitude, sharing gratitude with your colleagues for your success it sounds like it's immersed in your culture because it's with your leadership team, but even well beyond to your staff, which is amazing. Like, tell me about the AI hackathon. That sounds a cool concept. How did that go down?
Yeah, so we've got a team of about 30 developers, data scientists, UX designers, and for their breakout session, our CTO, who's also our head of AI innovation, basically gave them some business challenges to solve, gave them a little bit of background around prompting, et cetera. And some of them had quite a bit of experience with it, and some of them don't usually touch that part of our system. And they came out with like 4 or 5 different things that we will be able to productize over the next year in that kind of like afternoon of AI hackathon coding. So really
That's
fun.
awesome. That's awesome. I mean, everybody's buzzing about AI, of course, and implementing it into their businesses, and um, that's great. I know you guys talked about that a little bit at LeadsCon on your panel as well, which we'll talk about today too. But where do you guys focusing on for the rest of kind of 24, carrying your momentum into 25? I mean, obviously there's some FCC regulation stuff that everybody's kind of watching now with the one-to-one consent. But what's your kind of, we're almost halfway through the year, which is crazy. What's your kind of, what are you trying to carry out for the rest of this year and going into next year?
Yeah, sitting in May, we've got some great momentum so far. So we, beat our goals for Q1. April looks like a really nice beat of our goals, and May should be that too. I think one of the big, yeah, exactly. One of the big
Nice.
things driving that is we had a big initiative that continues to ingest quality metrics from our marketers. So, I mean, we all know performance marketing or outcome-based marketing the marketer's only paying if they get a customer, but oftentimes there's a secondary event that's happening that actually helps them understand how the customer lifetime value or how high of quality traffic this is. So for an app, it might be, okay, we're paying you for an app download, but ultimately we want them to fund this account. Or for a phone call, they want to stay on for a certain amount of time. That's the payable action, but then they need to lock into a policy. We are ingesting those in real time from our marketers. So we've got kind of 3 integrations that we can do, and they range from super simple off-the-shelf tech to highly customized things that we can actually build into your systems if you need it. And then we are using that through everything. So our growth managers think about that when they're thinking about budgeting, pacing, optimizing. Our internal buying algorithm also thinks about that and uses it to feed and decide pricing, how we're going to buy all of those pieces. And it just creates a virtuous feedback loop where we understand what their ultimate goal is, not just the payable action, and we're able to optimize to that consistently. So obviously that helps us fill budgets for marketers at high quality and hopefully win more budgets from marketers. So I'm feeling really good about this year.
Oh, wow. I mean, to take it to where you're really you're backing up the outcome-based marketing by entrenching it within your tech stack, and your communication with your client and your team, and ad dollars deployed and going deeper within your relationships of your accounts is key, right? Because we all work so hard to bring in on relationships, but we know that our time is so valuable. We want to make sure that they're maximizing everything that they can get out of working with you and making sure that they're getting the best possible outcome too, for that outcome-based marketing. So that's great. That's great. Are you guys at all? I think we've all faced regulatory challenges before in lead gen. Are you worried at all about the one-to-one consent, or you guys feel pretty good about things that you're doing there to make sure that you're in a good position to succeed, next year?
Yeah. For the most part, in our calls piece of our business, we are generating inbound leads. We're buying the media for it. We're generating inbound leads, and we're sending it ultimately to the brand directly. So we aren't even collecting any of the consumer information. No, we're thoughtful and looking to see how this might impact our partners and our marketers and things like that. But as a direct impact on our business, we feel pretty good about it. And like you said, right, we've seen so many evolutions of regulations over time in our industry. And I think that this one in general makes sense if you step outside the industry and you try to explain to like your mom, like what's going on, like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. So
Yes.
It's positive and hopefully continues to let our industry be viewed in a really good light, right? Like none of us want to be viewed as the backwaters of the internet. We want to be really proud of what we do, and the services that we deliver. So I'm for it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think in general, our industry has probably some companies have gone way too far in how many times they've tried to monetize a consumer engagement. And I think is one the right answer? Maybe, like we all want the consumer to get a better experience. We don't want to treat them like a 0 and 1. We want to treat them like a human that they are, and that they were really, making sure that they're getting a quote or a policy that matches what they actually are inquiring about. And so hopefully like you said, you're doing things the right way, which is great. Inbounds are a great way also where the consumer can drive that experience, and traffic to sites, stuff like that obviously will help too. So really, really cool that you're working through that with the team, and a lot of people that I've talked to are doing the same. So we're going to help set the bar for the space and do things the right way. And speaking of setting the bar, shifting gears a bit, I'm in LinkedIn or LinkUnite. I am an advisor. It's an honor to be an advisor. You're also a member, but really special that you are a CEO, a female CEO, which is I've been in the space since 2002, and there's not many women that are CEOs. And I mean, have you ever taken a step or back to just realize, is there a huge weight on your shoulders that a lot of women look up to you in the sense that you made it to the top, like in that, how can you help other women feel confident they can do that as well?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to shout out Link Unite as well. I've met Amanda more recently, and she's amazing. I mean, what she's built there and championing women and trying to get more women on stages, because there's quite a bit of talent actually in our industry that deserves to be heard, that deserves to be in leadership roles, and deserves to be considered for CEO spots, SVP spots, all of those pieces. And I think she's really like putting that on a pedestal and giving those opportunities out there and creating like a really just wonderful networking environment where we all want to see each other succeed. So, I mean, thank you for your time involved in that organization, especially,
Yeah.
as a man, as an ally, like,
Yes.
supporting something like that. It's
Thank
huge.
you.
Yeah. I've got two daughters that are 8 and 11. And when I like take a step back and think like those girls are never going to grow up in a world where they don't think that a woman could be a CEO, is really special to my heart and helps me to understand like, yeah, being in the room, you have that responsibility to, say the uncomfortable things. Like, no, I'm not going to go to that sales meeting that day because my kid's graduating from, fifth grade, and that matters to me. And like, hey, hopefully that also leaves the door open for dads who want to go to the fifth grade graduation too. Like, is that hour of the day so special we can't reschedule the sales call? Like, no, probably not, and having the opportunity to be like sitting in the meetings, I remember years ago when everybody started having kids, I started when I basically was a kid. I was explaining that to my
Yeah.
daughters this morning. They like did the math. They were like, you were only 22 when you started at this company. And I was like, yeah.
Oh,
But like
good.
we got to go through an evolution where like we were all kids and then we started getting engaged and married and having kids. And like I'd be sitting in a room and, everybody's like, well, should we even ask so and so if she wants to go to the trade show? She just had a baby. And I said, absolutely. We're going to ask her every time, and it's going to be her decision whether or not she wants to go. We're not going to make assumptions for her. We wouldn't do that for a guy. And it's like just additional perspectives in the room. And not just men and women, right? Any additional perspective you can get in the room gives you a stronger chance to be like a great company. And I think if you treat your people well, then you get good results too. So it's definitely a great spot to be in. Mhm.
Thank you for sharing that, story, especially about your daughters, because they should be super proud of their mom for, and like you said, they're going to grow up in a household where they can actually not only hear about it but see it in live. And like I was talking to Brittany Hawkins yesterday, and she was like, her daughter was like, "Mom, why do you have to go to Florida?" She's like, "Well, I have to, I have meetings." And she's like, "Well, aren't you the boss?" And she's like, "Yeah," but she's like, "But so then you don't have to go." And she's like, but it's truly, for me to witness as, like I said, a male ally, just to be able to see what women have been gone through. You had to grow up in our space where it's very few far between. There was no women's networking group. There was nobody there to really. You did this all, especially with a lot of men surrounded by you, and you worked your way to where you are today. You earned every piece of success that you have today because fighting that uphill battle. And I just, I think it's great for everybody to be able to witness and see. And we'll continue to hopefully see more women empowered to go out and advance their careers. And it's great what Amanda and Sarah are doing. Thank you for your support there. um, Work-life balance is critical for all of our success. And you shared on your feed the other day too about burnout, and things that we want as leadership to be able to be aware of and conscious of. And also you shared too that, like, people ask you all the time, what are your biggest challenges being CEO? And you talked about, you said it was the constant evolution, and but what gets you is the drive for embracing these changes within growth and within a growth mindset. So I'm going to shut up for a second because I'd love for you to talk about everything, that I just said about, work-life balance, and then get to the point of the challenges that you face being CEO.
Yeah, okay. That's a lot of thought starters. So let me see what comes to mind first. Um, from a work-life balance standpoint, to keep on that women in business thread, I will say I think that the ability for people to work remotely is going to be one of the biggest drivers in seeing more women in leadership and not having them fall out, right? So the ability to flip a load of laundry or start dinner, to take 15 minutes to pick up the kids instead of an hour and a half round trip to get to the kids in the office and all of that, it's a game changer. It's a game changer for me as a CEO who arguably has a lot of control over my own schedule. And so I want to make sure that that's the case for everybody that works for me. And I hope that more and more people do that, because I think that's going to be one of the things where we look back and we go, whoa, there's so many more women leaders now. Yeah, it's because we've got flexible hours or flexible work environments. And we're not judging people whether or not they sat at a desk from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and just, who knows, we're playing solitaire. Like, we're looking at results instead. And so I think that that's really, really important. When I think about like my longevity at this career, I'm thinking about burnout, right? You definitely run into so many challenges as a leader. Challenges in our industry, things are changing all the time, and challenges like growing a business of this size. And so my whole role basically changes every 6 months, and I just have to embrace that. But the opportunity there, and I think the opportunity, hopefully, that everybody in our industry has, because it's so fast growing, is that you can job craft. So you can say, what are the pieces of my job that like light me up inside? I like to talk to my team and say, what is your highest and best purpose? Like, what do you enjoy the most? And how can we get you doing more of that? Now, I can't promise there won't be parts of your job that you don't like. Like, nobody likes filing expense reports. Okay, I can't really make that better. I hear there's new technology coming out for it. So I'm not promising you're going to like everything, but how do you like align the majority of your hours against things that you're really excited about? And I think hopefully most people, especially in our industry, like we're a knowledge industry, can sit there and go, hey, I'm really good at this. I really enjoy this, and I can provide value to my company by doing this. So how do I do more of this and less of the BS? And I think that that really helps to drive, or not drive, it helps to, eliminate or kind of tamp down burnout, because when you're enjoying what you're doing and you're feeling that flow, hopefully you're getting fulfilled by your work and your work hours, and you don't care if it's, hey, I'm actually responding to a client at night, but I'm friends with this client and I can solve this problem for this client tonight, and then I've got more flexibility tomorrow. So those things, I think we've got so much optionality here in our industry, and it is exciting. Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love that. That's why I get those thoughts too at night too, where when I'm working with somebody too, and I'm like, I'd rather take this on now because I'm just so fired up about it, and they're gonna
Yeah.
appreciate me reaching out to them at like 9:30 because I just had this thought, and I'm like, I gotta like get this out. I gotta get this off my chest. And but it's like I agree with you too. I work from home, thankfully, and after the pandemic, I I I feel like I've become a much better father. I thought I was a really good father when I was on the road every week at DMS, a CRO. I was on planes in 2019. And the silver lining of the pandemic was it slapped me right on, and just said, you can do this, even in sales. You can do this by uh, working from home, and just being more connected with my kids has been watching them grow up has just been the best feeling in the world. It's amazing.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. And yet you still do find times to travel, right? But
Yeah.
those are really high value times to travel, where everybody's so thankful to be there. It's strategic, or it's relationship building. It's not checking a box travel. So yeah, I think the reset was so nice.
Amen. Amen. And I, strategically choosing four or five shows a year. And because it's so impactful, I want to make that special with my mayor. And LeadsCon, was I thought one of the best shows that they've put on. I've been to every LeadsCon since 2008, and I just thought that that was a really, really good show filled with excellent content, great networking. Exhibit hall was vibrant, like just awesome, awesome to be there. And you guys, I stopped by. I made it a point to stop by your panel. Amanda, told me up front, but I looked at your panelists like we're just you're all rock stars. I was really, really jazzed up about it, about what you guys, how you all kind of clicked well together. So tell us about how you did you guys prep a lot for your panel? Like, there was a good theme between compliance and innovation and publisher. Like, how did you guys all kind of come together to fill up a good session there? And is there a chance we could get you down for a second part down the line? Hint,
Yeah,
hint,
I mean,
lead Scott.
all props to Amanda. She did a phenomenal job. So I've sat on lots of panels at this point, but Amanda, kind of put a group together, and then I think we did 3 calls before the panel. And
Yeah.
at first I was like, sometimes I just show up to the panel, have just met my panel mates, and then
Yes.
like, here's your questions, and those work out okay. But Amanda was really thoughtful to say, like, hey, how do we make this the absolute best panel for the audience? What are they going to be interested in? And how do we make sure that we can get everybody's unique perspectives and ideas in here? And how do we foster a conversation? And I think the fact that she had a couple of prep calls with us all together before made it really comfortable for us to talk to each other. We sort of understood what points other people were going to hit on, but it also made it more conversational. So we weren't just sitting there going, oh, I know I've got to say my part and then she'll say her part, but it was, a conversational flow. And I hope that came across for the audience too. It was a lot of fun to do. I definitely do another one.
Yeah, awesome. And I agree with you. I just had Ethan Ewing, my good friend, on from ProPair, and he was a panelist. I was moderator. I was a moderator as well. And he said exactly what you said. If you actually take the time to have some pre meetings, it could be a couple, 2, 3, 4. It really goes a long way to build some chemistry. I mean, all of us are super smart. We've been doing this for a while. We could jump on the stage and probably kind of like, hack it, but in his words, he said, kind of just there's some people that should just mail it in, but like I feel like everybody, a lot of the sessions, there's so much valuable content that people really valued the preparation that, like what you guys put in, what others put in years past in conferences. Content hasn't been as valuable. People just do networking meetings, but I'm encouraging, I think the pendulum swinging back towards there is so much information, whether it's compliance related, AI related, all these different areas that we're trying to learn and expand more. And it's like, I'm encouraging more people to take the time, block off in your calendar. There's some great talent and great content out there to go witness. And you're sharing a lot of it yourself too on LinkedIn. We'll talk about that. But like, any other shows that you guys are looking, like you said, it's so impactful. You try to choose the right shows. There's a show every week, it seems like now. What's on the radar for Perform? What are you guys looking at for the rest of this year?
Yep. So, I mean, we've got a big team. We've got 140 folks, so we can show up at a lot of shows, and it doesn't just have to be me. So, next up, coming up will be ASE. Of course, we're going to attend that one. We've got Contact.io coming up, Impact Conference coming up. So we'll be on the road and we'll be traveling. But something even more valuable for us has been going to visit clients like at their offices. We're really been enjoying that.
Wow.
This different setting than the shows where everybody's got a meeting every 30 minutes and they got to get to it, and they were out enjoying themselves the night before. Instead, taking the time, showing up at their office, having that strategy session, and then taking them out to a nice dinner or going to their favorite sports team or things like that. That's been pretty impactful travel for us.
Yeah, I agree. Because I used to love going to visit client offices, and like you said, just one of my special talents, or I perceive it to be, is I really love to build relationships and understand, hey, where do your kids go to school? What's their favorite sports teams? Let's go watch a ball game together. Let's go create that time outside of our normal transactional Zoom meetings. So that's pretty cool. So you guys are seeing that you can go in some instances, you can go to offices, which is great. It's obviously more intimate than a speed meeting sometimes at a show. And those are all good shows that you mentioned. So I know people look forward to seeing you out there. Tell us a little bit about, like, you got 2 great girls, it sounds like. What do you like to do? I mean, you're running a business is tough, my friend, but do you get to spend some time away from the grind? What do you like to do a little, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, the kids definitely keep me busy. My husband and I we're going to a concert this weekend, going to the Hozier show. So I'm really excited about that. love
Oh
him.
my God. I got
Have you
him
seen
on my
him live?
radar September. He's coming to
Oh
San
yeah.
Diego, so it's on my birthday. So
Hmm.
he's got that soulful
Oh yeah.
voice, right? Just it captures you. It gets you good. That's
Yeah.
great.
So that'll be my second time seeing him in concert, and I would definitely recommend it. He's like one of those artists that sounds better live than he even does on his album, so that's
Ooh.
great. We don't live too far from the beach, so we make it to the beach and go out boating as often as we possibly can, and we're headed into that season now in Florida.
Nice.
We are Universal Studios annual pass holders, so we make it to the theme park.
Oh,
The kids are very in.
nice.
Yeah, yeah. They've got
Nice. Do
Harry
you
Potter World,
yeah.
Velocicoaster, all
Oh
of
yeah. So
those.
you're on your I let my kids, want me to get on the coasters too. So
Oh
you
yeah.
do the coasters? Yeah.
My husband doesn't ride rides. He carries all the bags and snacks and everything, and so mom rides the rides, and I do. I really do like them. So it's a lot of.
Nice. That's
Mhm.
so awesome. Well, separately, you and I will jam on some music together because if you like Hozier, I'm sure we have similarities in interests. So we would definitely that's a good takeaway for me. I'll follow up with you on some music because live music is so good for the soul. It's great to step outside the grind and to just be immersed into the show that you're at and just appreciate it really like there's almost I think there's been studies of
Oh
how
yeah,
good
they're
it is
studying.
for yeah. So that's awesome. That's so cool. We got to hit a show together. Um
Yeah.
that's cool. That's really cool. You've moved up higher on my food chain. I definitely I appreciate the going to shows and the live music aspect for sure. Um so I actually I want to talk about AI for a bit, but I also want to while I share, you also, again, anybody who's listening, check out Erin on LinkedIn. You follow her. Her content super valuable. It's with her, whether it's related to the company, but just also all the things that with around what's going on within our industries, verticals, um, and just the people that she networks with. Her stories are amazing. But in the last year, and I know you're not probably, I want to brag for you. So I want to, you guys you complete acquisition of Ad Communal, um, which is in expanding your capabilities and service offerings. Your innovation AI, we're going to talk about that in a second with partnership with Kalen, an AWS partner. Um, and then you have industry recognition, you finalists in two categories for US Partnership Awards with your clients at IPSY and is it Naturepedic?
Ipsy and Naturepedic.
IPSY and Naturepedic. Okay, cool. And recognized as one of G2's best ad networks in spring 2024 report. Um, and then community work, which is also amazing, is SRQ Media Group's February issue. You had the opportunity to discuss PCP's impact across our local community and forward-looking strategy. So, wow. I mean, you talked about the growth of the business earlier, and great Q1, April's looking good. But like you acquisition and then, doing community work with your team, amazing. I know you talked about that at the Think Bigger as well. Like how do you do it all? Like it's super special. Like it's amazing to just take a step back and recognize that success.
Yeah. I mean, the easy answer is I have a phenomenal team. So anything that we've decided is really important for the business, somebody owns. Like our CTO, we made him head of AI innovation. He owns that. We think that culture is really important. We have a vibe manager and he owns that. And so, I've got folks that directly report to me that help me move the needle on all of these initiatives and make my job a lot of fun. They definitely keep me busy. You got to go to this event now, go to this
Yeah.
speaking, think about this, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I really love it. I really love it.
That's awesome. And because I know firsthand going through acquisitions, putting that on yourself and your staff, and then is a lot through due diligence and understanding who you're trying to acquire. It's almost a full-time gig within itself, and still having your team run the business and show growth organically on top of what you're trying to acquire is not freaking easy. Like getting an acquisition done is like climbing a 10,000 foot mountain, like in bare feet and like, going up backwards. Like it's tough. It's hard to get because there's so many things that can come out from an acquisition that could make a deal kill. And so
Yeah.
for you to be able to do, that done and accomplish the growth that you guys had, a tremendous, talent shout out. Um, I want to talk about AI because you call it out in your post, and obviously everybody's racing to implement it within their workflows and their business practices and so forth. So, what does that mean to you and Perform? Like, what are you guys trying to do within AI today? And you talked about the hackathon, but can
Yeah.
you go into a little bit more depth?
Totally. So
Yeah,
for us, and I think for a lot of us, right, a year ago when we started really taking this seriously, we said there are so many options. Where do we start? And there was a lot of discussion internally of like, well, do we automate as many processes as possible? Where should we place our bets? And so for us, I really pushed the team to say like, hey, if we're going to focus on some big investments in AI, I want these investments to drive revenue and to be ways that we serve our clients, not just the internal pieces. And those will come, and many of them actually have come too. But so we really staked our ground on saying like, okay, what's a big problem in the business or a big opportunity in the business that we haven't been able to crack? And is this something that we can now, because of all the advancements in AI, actually crack? And so one of the things that's live on production over the past couple of weeks is essentially, I'm going to get in so much trouble because we're supposed to name this thing and we haven't named it yet. So soon I will have a name for it that's fancier, but
nice, nice.
it looks at the billions of clicks that we process on a daily basis. And I mean, it is billions of clicks. And so that data set has been too large for predictive models to really stomach before. Now we've been able to build some models and train them, and it can predict which one of those clicks is most likely to become a conversion. And it's able to do that across lots of different campaign sets, lots of different, traffic placement sets, et cetera, to the point where in the initial models, it has improved conversion. Our goal was to get it to improve conversion rate by 2x. In the models we've got running so far, it's improving conversion rate by 5 to 7x, which is like blow your mind, like game changer. I'm so excited
Yeah.
about it. We've got it live on a couple of pilot programs for some clients, and then it will roll out to our entire, outcome engine business over the next month. So that's like real time revenue changer, game changer for us that I'm so excited about. It's like wild, wild.
Yeah, I would be too. I mean, that's another major tranche of growth and feel really good about because of the use case you ran it through. Like, like you said, it'd be 1%, 2%, 3%, 4% be awesome, but to achieve that level and that's amazing. And because I know a CEO and the growth rate that you've achieved, there is this immense pressure, whether it's through acquisition or organic, to keep showing growth year
Yeah.
over year. And you have to think as vision, as part of being CEO is you got to think 6, 12, 18 months down the line, right? You got a lot of team members that are so focused on the now because they got to, execute where we are today. But you got to carry out and say, where's that tranche of growth going to come from? And obviously implementing AI, not just talking about it, but implementing it and seeing it work. You got to name it. But when you name
Yes.
it, put it in play. That's so awesome. I really I really appreciate you coming on today, Erin. You have an amazing story. And I'm gonna say something right now because it came to me all day, like just thinking about talking to you and then going through today. I'm going to nominate you at the AFI Awards before the Affiliate Summit East. I'm going to nominate you for the Legend Award, and I encourage anybody else who's listening today to what Erin's accomplished in this last year. I mean, for the business in general, but you deserve it, and I'm going to encourage people to just look at what you've accomplished within this past year. But it's an honor to be associated with you, and I'm gonna nominate you for the Legend Award.
I mean, that's incredible, Joey. Like, wow. Yeah,
Awesome.
wow.
You deserve it. You are truly a special person, and I feel like we've only gone a couple months of friendship to years. So we've grown like the in performance marketing, outcome-based marketing, we're dog years, right? Like it's
Yeah,
we're growing us. So,
we've
I hope we
definitely
can.
been at the same events for years, that's for sure.
Yes, yes. But I really appreciate you coming on. Your story is truly, truly amazing. And that's why I do one-liners is because I love to share the journey. You weren't, handed anything. You actually earned every piece of success that you have today. And it's just truly amazing. And I'm excited to share it. And I hope we can broadcast this message out to everybody. And I hope you win the Legend Award. And but anything else you want to share before we drop off?
That's really enjoyed chatting with you and getting to know you more, and I look forward to continuing our conversations. It's been such a pleasure, and I really appreciate you having me on and letting me share my story. There are so many cool stories, like you said, that's why we've got this podcast. There's so many cool stories in our industry because like we're all building it right now every day. That is why it is so exciting, is we get to solve the problems and we get to create the future. It's awesome.
Awesome. Keep leading from the front, my friend. I really appreciate you coming on. Have a great time at that concert, and we'll see you
Thank you.
soon.
All right.